Hey guys, welcome to another episode of AB in the Films. Guys, I know it's been a long time since my last review, and I know it's been a month since this film came out. Well, about a month. So I know most of you have probably already seen it. The theater was still pretty packed, so I'm guessing a lot of people still haven't seen it. Mostly because they've already heard either how good or how bad it was. But this is my review. I know, it really hurts me that I'm releasing this a month after this movie's been out, because what's the point, really? But I've talked about movies that have been on DVD before, so it doesn't matter. I'm going to talk about Pixar's new movie, Brave. This is Pixar's 13th film, so lucky number 13, huh? Well, it sort of goes both ways. Because here's the thing. I talked about Pixar. I'm not going to go into great detail about all the other Pixar films because I already talked about all the Pixar movies. I talked a little bit about Cars 2 in the last review of when I talked about Pixar. And Cars 2 sucked. Let's be honest, people. I mean, Cars 1, for me, I liked. It was my least favorite Pixar film. But after Cars 2 came out, believe me, that's off the map. When it comes to Brave, this is a movie... You know, it's hard to say because some people would think that this is the end of an era. Well, actually, the era ended when Cars 2 came out. That was it. That was the end of it. For me, the era kind of ended when Toy Story 3 came out. Because, I'll admit, when Toy Story 3 came out, I was hyped. I loved it because, you know, I'm the generation that grew up with Toy Story people, not the little kids these days. Like my generation, if you grew up in the 90s, you grew up with Toy Story, okay? So you were hyped. You must have been hyped when Toy Story 3 came out. I saw Toy Story 3. I wasn't crazy over it. The first two I love. Toy Story 3 is okay. Cars 2 sucked. And I wasn't expecting much from Cars 2. But I was expecting a little bit more from this film. Now, here's the thing. In the trailers for Brave, we don't really know what the movie is about. I'm sure you've seen that preview. You've seen the preview. There's two previews I've seen. There's one where it's like a minute long, and you see these tall stones in a circle, and you see Merida, I think her name is, on the horse, and it just says Brave, and that's the end of it. And then the other trailer is her shooting the arrows, you know, and it's pretty much like a scene from the movie, you know, and that's the trailer. So I really had no idea what I was going into when I was going to see this movie. I'm sure a lot of people also felt the same way. And when I sat down, like when the movie was over, I did like it. I will admit, I did like it. It wasn't my favorite, believe me, I got a lot of favorites from Pixar. But this one, I think it would be with Cars. The first Cars. It's like, it's not my least favorite, but it's like, it's down with Cars. The first Cars, I might add. Cars 2, forget that. But, you know, I mean, Brave, there's nothing really, you know, new to this. Because the stuff that happens in this, by the way, there are spoiler alerts in this if you haven't seen this yet. Most of what happens in this movie, like, the majority of the film, Brother Bear did it, okay? Like, I don't know if you've seen Disney's Brother Bear, but in a nutshell, that's what happens in this movie. What happens is, Merida, who is the daughter, is a princess who is forced to be married. Where have we seen that cliche before, other than Fiddler on the Roof and all these other movies before? But I was thinking, the movie I was thinking of when I was seeing that part of the film, I was like, oh, I've seen this. It's called Fiddler on the Roof, okay? A girl being pressured into marriage, she doesn't want that, but we've seen that a million times. And that was strike one for me. Like I said, okay, I'm giving Pixar 3 strikes with this movie. Strike one. Because what Pixar did was they had these new things to the movies. And that's what made Pixar so unique. Not only was it computer animation, but they had these interesting stories. And they were new stories. And they were genius stories. Stories that we never heard before. And with Brave, it was... well, anyway, that was strike one. Strike two. That was when Merida wishes that she wants her mother to stop telling her what to do because her mother is very bossy, telling her what to do. Like, princesses don't shoot arrows, they have to do this and be orderly. Seen that a million times. And she she runs into this witch or something, and she's talking to the witch, and she wishes for her her mother would just be quiet for a while, she has this potion to give her or something, and that turns her into a bear. And what happens is Merida's father has a grudge against a bear that had attacked him at one point. Do you kind of understand where this is going? So that's strike two. Predictability. It was predictable, that part. So that kind of got me a little bit upset there too. And with strike three, the ending was predictable because I knew what was going to happen at the ending. Nobody is going to die. It looks like it, but no, nothing bad is going to happen happily ever after. Yeah, happily ever after, because this is Pixar's first fairy tale. But then again, it isn't. So, what do I really think of the movie? I enjoyed it. I loved the stuff with Merida's three little brothers. They don't say a word in this movie, and they are just so funny. I laughed so hard to that every time they came on screen. Again, they really didn't have much to do except, for comic relief. But I liked that. I thought that was interesting. I loved Merida's father. I loved his whole backstory with the bear, and just the way he is as a father to Merida is just great. I love that character. The mother I found really annoying, and Merida as herself, there's a scene in the movie right before she starts, that second trailer when she comes in, she says, "I'll be shooting for myself," and she shoots the arrows. Before that whole scene in the movie, there's a scene where she's riding a horse, and they got that pop song playing, which I hate. I hate it when they play pop songs, and they have a montage to that, and to see Pixar do that really pissed me off. It didn't really piss me off, but it was like that feeling like, oh, really? Like, you're doing this? Come on. You're better than this. Well, it's pretty much this. Merida is a character of a person who wants more out of life. Why is every single princess written like that? And to have Pixar do this, these guys come up with genius characters and unforgettable characters, and characters we would rather spend like 2.5 hours with than the other crap that we've seen, like horrible animation flicks. I'm not talking about Disney. Disney has made some bad ones, but they've also made a lot of good ones. Pixar, I think, is starting to fall down. I honestly think they're starting to decline. Because for me, the era ended once Toy Story 3 came out. Up was the last really good Pixar film that I really loved. That was the last one. Toy Story 3 was okay. Cars 2 sucked, and this one brought it back up. I will admit this. Brave wasn't a failure. I'll say that. It wasn't a failure, which is good. Because, they can't have a failure after Cars 2. But I thought it was interesting. Like I said, there's not that much to the story. Some of it has been recycled. It's weird that I'm actually saying this, that Pixar would actually have something recycled, because they normally don't. And the animation didn't look like a Pixar movie. I mean, it kind of, like, half the time I felt I was watching How to Train Your Dragon Part 2. That's what the animation looks like. But I recall Brad Bird saying that they were trying... I think Brad Bird said it, or someone at Pixar said it. They were trying to use different style animation for the tone of this movie, or something like that. And I get that. But it didn't look like a Pixar movie. Like, if you saw Brave, and you didn't know it was a Pixar movie, you wouldn't even guess that it would be from Pixar. Because it really doesn't look like a Pixar film. It looks like something DreamWorks would make, And How to Train Your Dragon is from DreamWorks. So there it is, man. That's pretty much my review of Brave, and I hope this helped you guys out. Maybe I've changed your minds about something. But I will say this. It's my last few thoughts on it. It's nothing... It's not anything special, but it's not a failure. So that's good. I feel that that was good. But I thought it was okay. And I will see you guys next time on AB and the Films. Take care.